What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, we're going to talk about our fifth round draft pick, Jordan Phillips. I know that name might ring some bells. We've had Jordan Phillips before. That did not work out. Hopefully, this one works out a little bit better. So, he's a fifth round defensive tackle. We all know DT, not great for us going to the draft. We hit it a couple times, got a few free agents. We feel like maybe we can cobble together a defensive line. So let's break down Jordan's game. His biggest attribute is just being big and being a run stopper. He's 6'3", 320, just a wide body, strong hands. Very difficult to push him back, right? So when the ball snaps, it's either stonewall or he's pushing you back. Really strong hands. He's got what we call a knockback at the D line, meaning when he engages, you go back. That's what you want from a D tackle. You don't necessarily, okay, there we go. You don't want a defensive tackle who necessarily is just engaging. You want somebody to create some havoc up front, right? So his job primarily was to stop the run and be a run just plug. You don't always have to make the tackle to be a good run stopper. There's a few different ways. Sometimes you can just block you can just block the offensive tackle or guard so they can't get to the second level. Sometimes it's taking on two blockers. Sometimes it is knockback. When you do knockback, typically running backs have to they press the hole, meaning they run up to the line of scrimmage and pick their hole. If you start pushing the hole back, they have to veer around. And that time they're veering around, that's when linebackers come downfield, right? So just you creating a push up front, you don't even get the tackle a lot of times. But you cause either a TFL, tackle for loss, or the linebacker has more time to scrape over and make the play, or another defensive tackle can get off the block and make a play. It's all good stuff. All this is great. We definitely need it. You can day one to see him on short yardage packages being in there, being big, causing some chaos. We love that. Here's where he's not been great though. Pass rush. He played 16 games last year and literally had 0 sacks. Just no sacks. And he only had 16 quarterback pressures, which means he literally, once a game, got somewhere kind of close to the quarterback. And we don't. And pressures is a weird thing because pressure means you flush the pocket. It doesn't mean that you were about to get a sack. So it could just mean that you were 4 steps away and the quarterback saw you and just like just veered away from you. So it's not like he has 16 possible sack opportunities. It was just 16 times he got past the offensive line. Not great, right? Like we want your D tackles to be a little bit multiversal. We don't want you just to be big in the middle. Now the thing is that most guys who don't get pressure either are undersized and just kind of get swallowed up by the line, or they don't have moves at the defensive line, right? They just kind of engage and try to like overpower you. That's not the case with Jordan. He actually has a few moves. He's a spin move. He's got a club where you just like try to like bop somebody. He just hasn't gotten to the quarterback. Now he is not particularly fast, so that's one thing. He's quick, but he's not like fast. So he has moves that you think could maybe possibly translate, but they haven't up to this point. And I don't know if Miami really wants that from him in the first place. I think the idea could be we're in a healthy team, pretty strong on the edges, right? We have 3 guys when they're healthy that we feel can all get to the quarterback. The bigger idea would be if he can take up 1 or 2 blockers, he frees our linebackers up, which I've said many times on this channel, I don't think are great. I think we have middle of the pack linebackers. I think if all of our linebackers were free agents, they will get picked up, but no one's giving them, 3 years, 30 plus minutes. I just don't think we have that level of linebacker play. But when the D line swallows the offensive line, like as far as blocking goes, linebackers can just roam a little bit freer, and most of our linebackers are fast enough to get to the play. So you may not necessarily be the best pass rush, but you can allow other people to do the pass rush by you doing your job. If he can take up 2 blockers, that means that other people are one-on-one, and if we send a blitz, that blitz should be coming free, minus the running back in for protection. So I do think he can get better at the job. And the fact that he has good knockback means he does get pushback. It may just be a matter of extra commitment. It may be getting that initial pushback and then adding a second move. So maybe once you get the knockback and the tackle's kind of off balance, you just like move them left or right to then get to the quarterback. I'm sure we're going to teach him some moves on the next level, right? It's not like we don't expect you to be a finished product as a 5th round pick. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a 5th round pick. You would be what Mason Graham was, a top 10 pick. If he was that, then we wouldn't be talking about this. But the skills were there, and again, his low floor is I'm just a fat man in the middle, holding up offensive linemen. If that's the lowest you are, I'm just big and you can't move me. Hey, I'll take that for a fifth round pick. 4th and 1, 3rd and 2. Hey man, we need you to go in there and just call some muscle. Got it, coach? Stop. I'm fine with that. So I think he has a real possibility to be, second or third best player that we drafted in terms of how they're actually utilized and the value we got for him. I think there's a lot there, but he does have to get a little better at pass rush. We just can't. You can't be a nothing because middle pressure is devastating for offenses. It's, in every respect, the quarterback gets pushed back, has to flush. He's flushing to our ends, which we like right now. Or the running back can't press the middle, has to run around, so now he's getting strong. Now the sideline can be used as a 12th defender. There's so much value to getting middle pressure, and I think he can do that. Just got to coach him up a little bit. All right, y'all. We're talking about the schedule now. We haven't talked about the schedule since this channel really started. One, because we didn't know. Nothing to talk about. And we still don't have the full schedule, meaning we don't know when we're playing all these teams. But we do know who we're playing. So the Dolphins' home schedule is Murderer's Row. This is a lot. All right. This home schedule, I might lose some sleep. We play Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Commanders, and the Chargers at home this year. Fifth, all 5 of them. All 5 of them. Buffalo, Baltimore, Cincy, Chargers, Commanders, all at home. That is rough. I read that and I was like, I didn't want to see it. I think those are 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks and 5 of the top 10 quarterbacks. Now, again, we get them at home, but no one's looking forward to any of these games. I will say, Chargers historically have not been great against us. The other ones, I don't want to see Buffalo, just in general. We always play Buffalo very tough in Miami, but I just don't want to play them. The last time we played Baltimore, woof. Cincinnati, last time I think we played them, Tua got concussed. What are we going to do with that? Commanders, Jaden. That's all I'm just say that. Their defense is whatever. Jaden, he's one of the ones. It's not the best situation in the world. Now, ideally, you want to go 3-2 or better. If you can go against that lineup and go 3-2, we're talking about some real contender time. Like, hey, we beat 3 teams that are probably going to the playoffs. A couple might be 1-2 seeds. We feel pretty good about that, right? Worst case, 2-3. Hey, they got the better of us, but we did get, we got Baltimore, we got the Commanders up out of here. Buffalo, we know what that is. You can feel okay about 2-3. It means you're probably a borderline playoff team. If you go 1-4 or 0-5 in those games, ain't no playoffs. Because even if you make it, then what? You just get mollywopped in the first round. You have to start beating good teams at some point before you believe that you're a good team. I don't care how much X and, TikTok fanfare you can put out there. You have to start beating good teams to think you're good. Period. That's just how it works. Otherwise, we don't believe you. You need more people. We see Minnesota go 13-3. Like, oh, they're a great team. And then get smashed. Because you got to beat somebody. You can't lose 3 games to your 3 best opponents and get to the playoffs and then get beat up again. You, at some point, have to beat good teams. The Dolphins historically have not beaten good teams. Now, usually that's on the road. We really struggle beating good teams on the road. We get all these guys in Miami. You don't get better than this. Because if you go 3-2 in these games, then you have an outside chance to beat Buffalo for the division, which means you get a home playoff game, which we have not had in a quarter century. So you get the home playoff game, we will be favored probably against anyone 5-7. And then you get to the second round of playoffs possibly, and then we start talking about real contendership. But you gotta win these games. You got to. It's a journey. Until I see how this team looks in preseason and see how some of these picks pan out, I think 2-3 is optimistic. We do not match up well against Cincinnati because we don't guard receivers well. We already know what happened with Baltimore, and we know what happens with Buffalo. So that feels like Commanders, Chargers. If we can knock those 2 out, and then one of those 3, maybe. But I'm not I don't know. I read that and I was sad. I'm like, you gotta play all of them? Like, just happy it's at home. And finally, we're going to talk about what are reasonable expectations for Jalen Phillips going into this year. Jalen's in the last year of his contract, and he's coming off an injury. That's par for the course. What are reasonable expectations? I think ideally he finishes the season. Not putting any stat on it. Just get through the year. If he does that, we will probably give him a 1 year prove it deal. And then if he does another one, then some kind of contract. That makes the most sense. If he has a good year, we can't just give him 5 years, 150 million. Like we just can't. He's just been too injury prone for that. We can't do that. But he has to finish one season at some point before we can really start thinking about him being a long-term solution. I want him to do it so bad. He's had an unbelievably rough road in the football world, but the talent's off the charts. We all know it. Everyone likes him. Like homegrown product, we get it. We get it. But he has to be healthy. If he is healthy all year, I think he'll have between 10 and 12 sacks. Tackles, I don't want to throw a number on it, 70. Like it's not that big of a deal. But it's the sack numbers and the quarterback pressures. Because even when he had his best year, he left a lot of sacks on the board. Like he would get near the quarterback and get like he'll paw at the shoulder. Quarterback would, get off me, Jalen. But then it might lead to like someone else making a play. So the pressures I want to be high, and I want 10 to 12 sacks. Pro Bowl votes, maybe gets in the Pro Bowl depending on what happens with the Myles Garrett, TJ Watt kind of situation, right? Those guys miss time too. That will be the most ideal situation. What's more likely to happen, and I'm knocking on all the wood, is that he plays well for a few games, misses a couple games, and then has kind of an up and down injury type season. But ideally, he's not out for the year. Maybe just like, I missed 3 games. He plays 12, 13 games. If he plays that many games, 10 sacks, probably not Pro Bowl, but very solid player, has a couple really impactful games, can kind of be in a long-term solution for the team. That's really what I'm hoping for here. What I pray, I don't see games 1 through 4 hurt, out for the year. We have to cut him in the offseason. Who knows about his football career? He might retire early. Don't want to see that. So I think the talent is there. I'm a big fan. I know he's rehabbing. Hopefully he doesn't come back too soon. But just be a productive player. He could be our best DN. If he stays healthy all year, I expect him to be our best defensive end. He's better than Bradley Chubb, and Chubb Robinson will probably make a leap. He had 6 sacks last year. He might jump up to 9 or 10. So if Jalen gets 12 and Chubb gets 10, we're good there. And Chubb, I think, will finish somewhere in that 6 to 8 range. If we can do that, then I think we're doing something well. But injury history has not been kind to him, so hopefully he's done with all that good stuff. Or the bad stuff. He's done with all that bad stuff. But as always, guys, we appreciate you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. Thank y'all for likes, subscribes, all that good stuff. You're blowing the channel up. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.